Hello. Hola. My name is Ana Rambla Gonzalez. I'm the project director of the Language Justice and Multilingual Education Division at the Institute for Racial Equity and Excellence. Last year, we launched the Language Justice Initiative, which focuses on building an early childhood workforce and educational community that centers on racial and linguistic equity for every child to thrive in school and in life. Welcome to the Language Justice Initiative's Supporting Home Language series. During these series, we will be dialing with many experts in the field who have done extensive research and have deep knowledge of how teachers support multilingual learners in their classrooms. Multilingual learners speak 2, 3, 4, or more languages, including dialects, American Sign Language, and vernacular. Today, I am honored today to hear from our distinguished guest, Trin Lee and Lemia Ahumuri. Trin is a special education and clinical sciences department doctoral student at the University of Oregon. Her interest in early childhood development and family-based approaches attracted her to the field of early intervention and early childhood special education. Lemia is a doctoral student in the special education department and clinical sciences at the University of Oregon. Her research interest includes supporting families of children with special needs, language assessments, and interdisciplinary collaboration. During our time together, Trin and Lemia will share how children learn new concepts, for example, one-to-one correspondence, in a learning environment where Vietnamese and Arabic are the languages of instruction. These students learn these languages and English in school, at home, and in the community. Welcome, the two of you.
Thank you, Anna.
Inviting us to speak about this important topic.
You're very welcome. So let's begin. So what are some examples of bilingual preschool models for Vietnamese and Arabic and English instruction?
So most of the preschool models for Arabic and English instruction are called dual language immersion preschools. What we mean by dual language immersion preschools is that children will learn to speak, read, and write in both languages. In these dual language immersion schools, the academic content are taught in both languages. So, for example, the alphabet is not only taught in English or only in Arabic, but children will be learning both of these alphabets in Arabic and English. And some examples of the dual language immersion preschools here in the U.S. Are the Arabic Immersion Magnet the Arabic Magnet School in Houston, Texas, and Elif in Sacramento, California.
Yeah, I agree. So the main purpose is to preserve their home language and culture for the bilingual children and population. So the model I would like to share is also the immersion dual language program. So I'm talking about the Vietnamese language and culture. So like what Lemia said, the instruction is provided in both languages. So in this case, Vietnamese and English. One at a time, and the children are encouraged to interact with the teachers, with one another in both languages. So some of the programs that use the models are the Westminster Dual Language Early Learning Programs in Little Saigon, the Oka Preschool in Massachusetts, and Learn a Lot Bilingual Preschool in Washington. So all of these programs have the play-based activities, which are age appropriate for preschoolers. They also have culturally relevant anti-bias curriculum that nurtures and honors the Vietnamese heritage and exposes the children to the language by talking to them, to books in Vietnamese, and to a cultural celebration festival. So the children learn to be proud of themselves and of their families. They respect human cultural differences. They understand and interact with people from cultures that are different from their own. So what I found interesting about this model is that the model focuses on developing not only bilingualism, but also biliteracy. So because for me, the Vietnamese language is like in the US, right? It's like a heritage language, which is not used much and might be ignored by parents and families. So the goal is for the Vietnamese language to take precedence, to be the dominant language in the classroom. And then it will become more important in a broader community. And also for preschoolers with a development in early literacy in Vietnamese, they can move up to higher grades in the dual language education system.
Thank you both. So language is one's heritage, and it's pivotal that families support their home language. Why is it important to assess in the home language?
Right. So assessment of young children in the home language is very, very important for many reasons. So I'm raising two reasons here. The first one, it is required by law that assessment align with personalized learning and competency-based education. So for young Vietnamese preschoolers who had no or very little experience of schooling, most of their learning takes place in the home setting, where Vietnamese can be the main language or can be the only main language. So assessing them in Vietnamese or in the language that they speak every day can help provide them with an equal opportunity to demonstrate what they know and what they are ready to learn next. The second reason, I think it is a way to demonstrate to the families that it is very important, right, to maintain their home language, because families, parents are the best models in speaking Vietnamese and using it in conversation. So it is important to encourage their continued use of the Vietnamese language and also encourage their roles of modeling using the language. So in order to promote bilingual development, children need an early quality, so I say quality exposure to the home language and also English, yes.
I agree with you, Trin. Assessing the home language is essential because when we assess the home language, it will provide us with a summative and formative evaluation of the child's performance. And also, when we assess, many of the kids actually grow up having more knowledge and words in their first language, not the second language they are learning. So, and they might be more comfortable in answering assessment questions and activities when it's provided to them in their first language. And in terms of assessment for Arabic kids, we're not only assessing the Arabic language in general, we will be assessing sometimes the modern standard Arabic, which is the formal Arabic, and non-standard Arabic, which is the informal Arabic. So we need to assess the whole language to be fair to children, and also to understand if there is any delay in learning the first language, which can definitely affect learning the second language.
This is a very important topic, assessment. And all children should be assessed in their home language. And when we assess children only in English, we are not giving them the opportunity to demonstrate what they know in their home language.
Mm-hmm.
So what should we know about Vietnamese and Arabic to teach literacy skills in a bilingual program?
Before I answer this question, I want to give a brief overview of the Arabic language. As I stated previously, that Arabic has two varieties, the modern standard Arabic and non-standard Arabic. So modern standard Arabic is the formal Arabic, and it's used in like in schools, meetings, and when reporting news. And the non-standard Arabic is the informal Arabic, and it's used between friends and family and social gathering. So these children would usually learn the non-standard Arabic at home, and then when they go to school, they start learning the modern standard Arabic. And in terms of literacy, you'll see many of the books out there are written in modern standard Arabic. And I also want to focus on the direction of reading and writing for Arabic, which is from right to left. And it is the exact opposite of English, where we read and write from left to right. And young kids may get very confused, like, is it time for me to read from right to left, or should I switch now to from left to right? So it can be very confusing to them, and I would suggest teachers to be very patient with these young children who are trying to make sense of these two languages that are completely different from each other.
Yeah, and in my opinions of the Vietnamese language, we should know about the characteristics of the Vietnamese. Vietnamese is a monosyllabic tonal language that uses the Latin ABC. So that means that Vietnamese has the ABC that with mostly similar sounds to the English ABC. However, one word has one sound, has one syllable, has one sound. So for example, the word Nguyen, Nguyen, is called Nguyen, so one sound, one syllable. It cannot be called Nguyen, no. And also different tones will indicate different words with different meanings. Like, so we have Nguyen as a last name, the very common Vietnamese last name. So Nguyen is like kind of broken up, going up a little bit. But if you go down and short down, you have Nguyen. So it has a different meaning. It's mean wish. And if we go down but not short, we say Nguyen is like a curse. So different meanings. So in Vietnamese, we have 6 different tones. So Chinese have 5 different tones. Vietnamese have 6 different tones. So foreigners and Vietnamese children, when learning the language, may have difficulty learning about the tones. And the second thing that we need to notice when teaching biliteracy is the resources. So for the Vietnamese language, it's maybe hard to find books and materials in Vietnamese, especially for preschool in small cities like Eugene, Oregon, where I live. So I think the preschool may collaborate with the family to bring in the Vietnamese expertise and resources to the classroom.
Wow. Thank you for sharing these examples. This is very fascinating. I like how you also mentioned that working with families and having them share their knowledge as a resource. That is critical. And this is particularly helpful when teachers can't find books written in children's home language. Now, is there anything that teachers should know about teaching in the home language?
So as you said, and as I already said, work closely with parents and families. Involve them first because they are a very good resource of their home language and the cultural celebrations. The families also provide a good model of speaking and reading Vietnamese to their children. So I think what teachers could do is to help the family to enrich the family's home language and literacy environments, help making reading a habit, a routine in the home.
Yeah. I would say make learning fun, by reading different stories, listening to different songs in Arabic, or watching different videos. And also establishing reward system can be very effective for these children, because we don't want them to feel like learning Arabic as a chore to them. And some of these rewards can be watching their favorite cartoon in Arabic, which can definitely enhance learning the language.
Collaborating with families is essential. As you mentioned, families serve as a model for using home language in the home, reading books, and during daily routines. What words of wisdom do you want to share with our teachers?
I would say learning is a process, and it definitely takes time. We talked a lot in this recording about involving families. So definitely involve families, learning from the strategies they're using with their kids, and ask them to bring to the class meaningful things that are for the child, such as a photo of Eid celebration or books about Ramadan, or ask them to come and share their tradition and culture to the classroom with the kids. So definitely involve the families and learn from the strategies they're using.
Yeah, so I recently read an article about beginning to read in Vietnamese by Dr. Pham and Dr. Snows in 2022. So the two authors pointed out two precursors that can predict the reading skills of children learning to read in Vietnamese. So the two precursors are decoding and expressive vocabulary. So also in the same study, they found that children with better phonological awareness show to be better at decoding later on. So with those findings, I guess, the teacher can embed the teaching of the sounds of the Vietnamese ABC to increase the children's phonological awareness, and also engage in language-rich conversations to expand on the expressive vocabulary for those children. Yeah.
Now we are going to hear from our two distinguished guests who are going to be sharing some great literacy books to share with all of us.
So some of the books to consider when working with bilingual kids who are speaker of Arabic. The first book is called 10 Ways to Your Snow. It's about heritage, culture, and experiencing things for the first time. So this book is about a young girl who immigrated from her home country and came to the US and experienced snow for the first time. So the day after the snowstorm, she decided to go to visit her grandma to help her make grape leaves. While she walks to her grandma, she started to count the 10 different ways to your snow, such as shoveling the snow, scraping the snow from the car, and walking on the snow. This book is really interesting because many of the kids who are from Middle East would usually, or maybe sometimes never experience snow. So it is nice to share with them. The second book is called Lost and Found Cat. It teaches children empathy. It's about an Iraqi family who had to leave home to Greece because of war. And they couldn't leave their cat behind, so they decided to bring him along. Unfortunately, they lost their cat while traveling, but at the end of the story, they get reunited with their cat. Another book is called Under My Hijab. This book is about culture and faith, and a young girl talks about the 6 women in her life who wear a hijab in a unique way, and also she thinks about her future and how she can express her own personality through a hijab. The next book is called The Cat Man of Alabo. It's similar to the Lost and Found Cat. It teaches children empathy. This book is about a person called Ala. During the war in Syria, many of the families left their cats or their pets behind, because they couldn't take them with them. So, but Ala decided to stay in Syria and drive an ambulance to rescue the cats. When بدي أتخبى, or where shall I hide? It's the one to the far left, and also the one next to it is called Michael Henrika and the Wolf. So these two books are written in non-standard Arabic, and when بدي أتخبى is written in Levantine dialects, which is spoken in Jordan, Syria, Palestine, and Lebanon. And it's about a young girl who just likes to hide. And I think this book is nice to share with the kids because it's written in non-standard Arabic, which is the informal Arabic. And similar to that is the Michael Henrika and the Wolf. It is a book retold by an Egyptian dialect. It's similar to what we have, like Little Red Riding Hood, but this one is as I said, written in or retold in Egyptian dialect, and it teaches children about their heritage. And lastly is Layla's Lunchbox. This book is about Ramadan, and Layla came to the US, and she's old now. She's old enough to participate in fasting. But in the story, she is worried about why her friends may not be able to understand why she cannot join them in the lunchroom. Yeah.
Oh, and now the Vietnamese book. So the first one is This is Dead. This is Dead, available in both English and Vietnamese. The book was originally written in Vietnamese, and the English version is the translation. This is Dead, especially the Vietnamese version, is a beautiful rhyming book that depicts death, or the Vietnamese Lunar New Year's activities and customs. So all of these activities are described through the lens, through the eyes of a little child who travel with their families from the big city to the small village for that celebration. And the illustration is visually appealing, as you see in that pictures. And culturally inspire. For me, it brings about my childhood memories. So I think it could help to share about the Vietnamese culture and also speak to the Vietnamese identity. And the next book is Con ăn cơm chưa, or have you eaten yet? So if you hear this question, when you meet somebody and you hear this question, it's a little bit strange, right? But it is actually very common in the Vietnamese culture. When you meet somebody and you ask, have you eaten yet? It's just like, how are you? How are you doing? And this book not only shares the different kinds of Vietnamese food, but also talks about the grandmother's love, and was partially talked about the extended structures of the Vietnamese families. The next book is Where Thương Give Love. So Thương is the name of the girl, is the name of the main character, which means love in Vietnamese. And this book is inspired by the subtle but unique differences in the notion of love between American and Vietnamese cultures. So this book is featured in the Children's Book Council in summer 2022. And the last book is Trái tim của mẹ, or in English, The Mother's Heart. So as you know from the title, it's about the mother's love. And this love comes from the very basics, the simplest things in life. And the illustrations in this book are full of wonderful pictures. So you should have it, you should read it. Yes.
Thank you both for sharing these great storybooks with us during these today's time together, and also the strategies that you shared for teaching Arabic and Vietnamese to children. The models that you shared, the tonals, everything. It was a true honor to have you both here in this session. Muchas gracias. Hasta la próxima.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. Thank you for having.
Yeah, thank you, Anna, for providing us with this great opportunity to share what we have with the teachers.
Thank you both for your time.
Thank you.